All right, everyone, we got manager Bud Black here. We'll have to keep it a little bit short tonight. And we'll get started with Thomas Harding.
Hey, buddy. Congratulations on the comeback win, but just wanted to check on Kyle Freeland. What is his situation? What was the injury?
Yeah, long story short, without getting too detailed, I think Kyle will speak here momentarily, but diagnosed as a left hip impingement. Hasn't had it at any time before. He noticed warming up that, he really couldn't push off the rubber and drive down the mound. He thought it might progressively get better as he got into his warm-ups and when he got into the game with some game adrenaline, but it never happened. So a little bit of tightness in the left hip, and we removed him for precautionary reasons.
Hey, in this game, you Rogers get a couple of really big hits for you, obviously the home run and the double, but he also drew a walk in your rally in the fifth inning. I mean, are you seeing the kind of controlled at bats with the power that you've been expecting from him?
Yeah, I think overall we've seen, marked improvement, from obviously his first stint in the big leagues a couple years ago. What he did in a small sample last year. Now I think we're starting to see the talent show up. Got the home run to center field. Really drove that ball in the gap. That ball was smoked in the ninth. Good walk. I think he's going to hit, Thomas, so it's good to see.
And you guys drew 8 walks today. I think and it matched the season high. The other season high was in a road game in Pittsburgh. I mean, do you look at this as possibly the type of offense that you need on the road?
Well, we need on-base percentage. We need to score runs by getting on base. We have to do that at a better clip. Today was a good example of what can happen when you walk and you get hits in the same inning. You put pressure on the opponent. You put pressure on the defense and the pitcher both. In the ninth, that fella, small sample size, Barlow's off to a nice, little run here. He's pitched really well. But we said all the time, you can't walk. And I'm sure that, their manager and their pitching coach are saying the same thing as an educational piece of advice. It's tough to overcome them at times. And tonight it happened positively for us on the offensive side.
And last one from me. Lawrence obviously struggled when he came in. After that, though, a nice parade of relievers keeping them at bay here. You don't have many bullpen games, but this is one I guess you could point to, correct?
A little rough second for sure for both Justin and Ben. Ben gave up a couple hard hit balls and then wiggled out of it and then had a good third inning, which was great when he picked the tempo up and started pitching a little bit more aggressively with a better pace in between pitches. And then from there, Stevenson, a solid 2. Bard, we got an inning out of Bard after a couple soft hits by them, and then Shashin did a nice job, and Carlos shut him down the ninth. So it was a game that we kept close early, and our veteran relievers did a really nice job of finishing off the game, putting zeros in a game that I felt we had a chance to come back in. I really did. So, and the guys responded.
Before I go, who's your starter tomorrow?
Chi Gonzalez.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes.
Nick Roque.
Yeah, buddy. Were you just being cautious with Kyle, or is this an IL possibility?
No, I think we're being cautious. We'll see how it sets up the next couple of days. But, I just didn't like what I saw in our conversation in between innings. Didn't lead me to feel real good about, Kyle's day, what could happen here. He said, let me give it a shot, see if it loosens up. And I just did, the 4-pitch walk to low, got me to the point where I thought that was enough for Kyle. He didn't need to push through this.
Okay. And then on Jon Gray, are you being careful with him too?
That's precautionary, yeah. Yeah, we're just being careful with Jon. I can mention yesterday, I threw a good side session yesterday. I felt good, threw the ball fine. Then a couple hours later, a little bit of soreness, in the forearm area, the top of the forearm. And we just decided, we don't need Jon to pitch, under that condition mentally. So we're gonna wait another week or so to see where he is. He's going to throw again. I mean, there's a chance he could, he can come back and start the middle of next week when the 10 days are up. But, I think he's fairly close to feeling good and confident about the arm. So, we did it for that reason. And a little bit of September, a couple extra pitchers, we can afford to, we use again, potentially tomorrow, a bullpen game, depending on how Chi does.
Cool. Thank you, buddy.
Tracy?
Hey, buddy, on the Rogers thing, it almost seems like everything turned around for him when he finally hit that first home run, which took a couple years for it to happen. Do you think that maybe gave him a little bit of that lift?
I think it did. Anytime you do something the first time in the big leagues on a positive note, you just exhale a little bit. Whether it's your first hit, your first homer, your first good fielding play, contributing to a win, you just start exhaling and you start feeling more comfortable. It took time for Brendon, right? There's been obviously a lot of hype, around his, big league career getting started in 19. And in all fairness, he wasn't quite ready. There was the little bit of an issue with the shoulder that's been resolved. There's a little bit of an issue facing big league pitching initially, right? With a little bit of pressure as a 22-year-old. So, he's in a really good spot now.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll go final questions from Larry Patrick.
Yes, buddy. After Rogers' big double that gave us the lead, still said a lot when Charlie Blackmon came up, hit a hard liner there to first base, and could have easily been thrown out, but he really hustled down the line and showed a lot of hustle around the bases, setting a good example for the younger players.
No doubt, Larry. I think we saw that on the double play, the potential double play ball that Charlie hit on the nose to Solak. We had first and third, and Chuck, hit the hard grounder to second. They tried to turn the double play, and Charlie beat it, but he ran hard out of the box, enabled him to beat the relay from their shortstop. So again, ran hard, didn't take anything for granted. The first baseman booted it, and then from there we kept going. So Charlie plays the game the right way, Larry, no doubt about it. Sets a great example every day for our players. I've said that repeatedly over the last couple of years, especially since, Charlie's now, really a guy that sort of embraced that leadership role. So I think you see that every day. You guys don't see it behind the scenes, but it's probably most impressive there as well. What Charlie does in the clubhouse, in the batting cage, in the video room, on the airplane, on the bus, each and every day. Chuck brings it to, a great level of leadership.